Welcome back to Dank Souls. I'm going to be picking up where I left off. Get that mouse out of the way. And I think my goal here on this one is just to be able to get back to Firelink Shrine through the Undead Parish on this one. I'm going to take a bit of a shortcut that I like to use and probably take on everybody's favorite, the Rock. But I'm going to get some stuff out of the way here first. These guys are just fascinated with me. Oh, well, that was a bad idea. Trying not to make dumb decisions here. I'm used to playing this on a much larger screen, even though I tend to play in windowed mode for 720p just to keep the actual recording software out of the screen. I'm having to play in 720p window. So my goal, of course, again, is I'm going to try and get Havel down, which, you know, that's going to get me the ring, and I may decide to equip some of the heavier armor. I may not. I don't tend to mess around with fire bombs and whatnot. They just don't work out for me. And the Astora Straight Sword is really just, it's a very good weapon to get you going in this. You get a backstab for that. It's doing plenty of damage, and it's going to do even more damage as I upgrade it. Going to have a good couple of crystal lizards to be able to bolster the strength of the sword as time goes on. God. Douchebags. Just to get this soul item, all that for this. This is another one of the doors that the Master Key will let you open early, and it's good because it's not exactly early. I mean, you don't have to buy the dang key from the Undead Merchant. So you get these gold pine resins, which are really useful. A lot of stuff in the game is weak against lightning, and a lot of it's weak against fire. So it's a good little extra buff here. The only problem is that with the Astora Straight Sword, since it's already blessed with divine energy, with divine power, then I can't further buff it for any other effects. So once again, I'm just going to do my favorite little double swipe with these guys. The shield, the spear hollows, they tend to be pretty vulnerable to it. And double hit here. Hollow soldier helm, never going to use. And let's see if I can pull off a backstab on this guy. He's a pretty tough customer, but really the guys with the swords are the easiest to parry and the easiest to work with. So, oops. Let's try that again. The easiest to parry. There we go. That's more like it. Play along, bro. I'm doing a thing. Yeah, that'll do. And one more for good measure. Bye, bro. A Titanite chunk. Excellent. I'm not going for the ring. Nobody uses the ring. Bit of a trap. Thank you. Again with that rushing thing, and they just don't get it. It's so predictable. Whoops. Yeah, the frame rate is suffering just a little bit. I'm trying to record this in 60 FPS. I was actually very surprised to see that my little half-hour long video was like 2.98 gigabytes or whatever. It was really kind of sobering, and I can only imagine what size this video is going to be. Ooh, 2 large Titanite shards. That's wonderful. Now, I'm not going up for the Tauros Demon yet. I'm trying to save as many bosses as possible for after I've gotten the covetous Silver Serpent Ring. Not that he's a rich boss. Now, this is another door you can open with the Master Key, and it leads straight down to Havel the Rock. And Havel the Rock is a difficult customer if you haven't really mastered the backstabbing, and that's really honestly going to be the best way to beat him. The thing that you really got to be aware of is just don't be afraid of your enemies in this game. By getting up close to him, you can pretty easily work your way around back of him here, and sometimes you have to bait him into backing up a little bit or coming out to you. And I'm going to see if I can just chain backstab him as best as possible. So, yeah, that didn't work. Keep your shield up, and again, being close to him is actually a little bit better than being far away from him. He gets a better run up that way. I'm not saying Havel doesn't splat me, I'm just saying it doesn't happen as much since I got used to his pattern. Rolling helps. You get your iframes or your invincibility frames from rolling. And with the Astora Straight Sword, I'm really making a lot of good progress on him. You typically want to go around your enemy counterclockwise, basically heading away from their weapon arm. It will be left for them. Come on, bro. There you go. Take the stab when you can. And this guy's worth a good couple souls. Alright. Chain 1. Ooh. That didn't work out. Okay, well, that's fine. He still hasn't clobbered me yet. Come on. Now, Havel's Ring is very useful. It really increases your equipment burden limit, and it's good for if you're wanting to wear heavy armor and have good defense, but still have some level of mobility. Now, I don't try to get my my endurance up beyond 40, because that's pretty much where the stamina boost ends. But in some cases, even with Havel's Ring, then you may have to get your stamina up past, or sorry, your endurance up past 40. On my knight character, when I tend to go for the paladin armor, then 41 is a good mix for being able to wear the paladin armor, use the boulder shield, and the boulder straight sword, also known as, or sorry, bowler side sword, also known as the bowler swag sword. And that's really a good weapon for when you've got the dex for it, because it starts off with a B rating in dexterity, and then it raises up to having an A rating when you've gotten it to level 14. So that's nice. I killed Havel, didn't even get scratched by him. And open up the door out into the Darkroot Garden. Or Basin, rather. Now, the Hydra, you probably don't want to take him on at this point, and primarily because you're still not doing a lot of damage, and secondarily, these golems are pretty resistant to magic attacks, and the Astora Straight Sword, a good portion of its damage comes from Divine, which is counted as magic, so you just don't want to mess with it all that much. Come back when you've got a pure physical weapon, and those guys will be cake. You still want to have it leveled up pretty good. So going down here to try and bait the Spear Black Knight into attacking me, and this is part of my strategy because to upgrade this sword you have to have 2,000 souls as well as Twinkling Titanite. And so these guys give a good little boost of souls for right now. And the main strategy most people try to employ with this guy is just to bait him into a position where you can backstab him off the cliff. That's not always easy to do, and when he does that spinning attack, you don't know where his back is going to end up. Likewise, if you know how to properly bait him, you could just as easily, backstab him to death. This might be a good position. Nope. Of course, you wanna get him off the edge, but you don't want to fall off the edge yourself. He's not that bad, honestly, if you're being properly defensive, and the spider shield helps. It's really a very good shield just when you're beginning. I think the only better shield for starting off would be either the heater shield for the warrior class, or the knight's tower shield. The tower shield is quite good. This may just have to turn into a backstab battle. And that doesn't bother me none. Awesome. Blue Titanite chunk. It actually, I don't use it for anything. I think it does for the crystal upgrade path, but I'm not going to use it for such. I'm going to actually use it when I get Kingseeker Framped, because when you feed him any color of Titanite chunk, that is not the regular Titanite chunk. This is another part of my plan. Get the longbow. It's a free ranged attack, and the feather arrows are enough to get a couple of annoying enemies out of the way. But back to the matter of the chunks, is that when you break down a red or white or blue chunk, then it turns into several green Titanite shards, and then when you break those down from Framped, then those turn into regular Titanite shards, and it's a great way to just get a bunch of weapons up to level 5 with Andre. Goody goody, large Titanite shards. I prefer the chunks, but, you know, some people would have a heart attack if I went and, you know, trashed a chunk. Now, another part of my strategy does involve getting one of each color moss, one blooming purple, one regular purple, and one red, because those can be traded into Snuggly the Crow, and you can get yourself some extra Twinkling Titanite. And that's part of my plan, is to just get this sword up to maximum, and then it's smooth sailing for most of the game, or at least a good portion of it. I'm not going to go fighting these tree demons right now, these dryads, because I want to up my sword a little bit with Andre here. This 8,000 souls is going to be very useful for that. Coming up on this Titanite demon, it's not true that 100% of the time he turns and fires a bolt of lightning. As you can see, he turned damn near to face me, and he probably would have taken a swing at me too. So here's Andre, and first order of business is, yeah, I'm a new arrival, alright. I like Andre, he's a cool guy, and you gotta learn the gesture. But I'm trying not to get this too dialogue heavy, so start off right off, just use up your existing Titanite, Twinkling Titanite, to get your sword up to 3. And now, the next part, it is never a bad idea to get a bunch of arrows. Large arrows are good. They're mainly used for when you want to attack something. I will pick up standard arrows often, and there's a reason for that, but that we'll see later on, but it is never a bad idea to stock up on arrows, ever. It is never a waste of souls, because of the fact that there's just a lot of good from just shooting at stuff. Things are easier if you can cheese it. Yeah, easy cheesy, exactly. So now I have the Astora straight sword up to +3. I'm going to have a bit easier of a time with the dryads here. And because I'm wearing armor that doesn't have a very good poise rating, and I do plan to go down into Blighttown via the back door just to get that Firekeeper soul, and that means I'm going to be in the path of the dart blowers. Yeah, I just killed that guy with one hit, as you can see, so that's why upgrading sword is good. But I'm going to need some poise, because if you don't have enough poise, then the dart blowers down in Blighttown are going to stagger you with just those silly little darts. So I'm going straight for the wolf ring as soon as I'm able. And I want to kill these demons until such time as I've gotten one each, and that can take a while. This is a little bit of farming. It's not usually all that terribly bad. And the hardest one to get is the blooming purple moss. That's the rarest. Okay, large soul of a nameless soldier, don't miss that. And I'm going to just take a little break here at this bonfire, which is going to be a pretty good idea, because you want to respawn your enemies and also, you know, to help with the farming. Now, if the farming gets especially long, I may decide to just cut it. I try not to let it take that long, but I don't really have much say in the matter. It's all down to the drop rate. Now, one thing you can do to make your life a little easier, at least until you've gotten the moth out of the way, is you can go over here and don't pick up the item, guys. This is obviously a trap, but you can get the tree demons to pop up one at a time and come out and fight them on your terms, which would be just a lot better. And this is just a good little farming ring here. That's the pattern. You save at the fire, and then you come and get these guys. So you see these little tufts on the ground. You got to aim a little bit to get them, but once you do, they will pop up. And after a second, they've got a moment of invulnerability when they jump up. Okay, more blood red moss. I don't need that. I'm not grabbing the thing. Gonna go through the fog gate. And I'll just go ahead and polish off this dryad over here, and that's also on my run, my little route. Ooh, a blooming purple moss clump. Excellent. That's going to make things a lot better. Ooh, getting away from that guy. Did he wake? Did he get up? No. Good. Here's the tree. The tree, you see it slither and squirm. And it's got a lot of HP for an inanimate object. There you go, a couple couple good swipes with the sword will show him what for, and the secret path opens up. There's a little frog guy down here, froggy, manta ray demon, whatever, and a good stab or two will take care of him. And he typically drops the green blossoms, which that's good for stamina. If your stamina is running low, you can pop one of those and get a brief stamina boost. It's better for PvP, honestly. I never mess with it. This guy I could totes leave alone, and I think I will. I don't want to mess with his day. He's not getting in my way. Running over here to go get the wolf ring, and that's going to add that much needed poise. That'll be more than enough to compensate for the lack of poise from the black leather armor. So here I go again. Yeah, that's salt and pepper. And that guy right there, he's pretty scary, but you can typically just get away from him by doing a good jump out here. That puts you in this guy's path, and that's a little bit of a hassle. You gotta be careful, because remember, we rested at the bonfire, and that's respawned all the enemies. I just need a regular purple moss clump, that's all I need, and then I'll be able to invoke my plan to raise my Astora Sword to +4, and then I'll be going down into the Catacombs. I like to kind of get a lot of nasties out of the way, and whenever I see some Boulder Knights, the ones that are actually not the rapier ones, but the regular Boulder Knights, I always try to make a swipe at them on the off chance they'll drop the Boulder Side Sword or the shield, because those are, you know, two of my favorite items in the game. The shield is very good, and it has very low stat requirements, but it still ends up being a good, strong 100% damage reduction shield. I would have liked to have hit this game when the... oh good, my purple moss clump. Great, this took less time than I thought. I'm not even going to stick around here. I wish that the Eagle Shield would have not been nerfed, even though 95% is still pretty good. I didn't really get into the game early enough to make use of that. But the Boulder's Shield is just, it's a really good shield. I like it a lot. It's very, very easily upgradable. It goes along the regular Titanite path, and it's just, you know, I can't say enough good about it. It's the shield that I tend to stick with for the rest of the game. And that's kind of, again, that's my whole process here, is I get good items early, and I use them for most of the rest of the game. Now, the Astora Sword is not going to be a rest of the game kind of weapon, but it's really good for just the first couple bosses, and it's a great, you know, damage boost to help you out with this. Plus, it's also really useful down in the Catacombs because of the fact that you know, the skeletons down there will not properly die unless you A, kill their necromancer, which is not always easy, or B, if you kill them with a holy weapon. And that's yet another reason that I picked up a ton of arrows, and I'm going to be getting even some more arrows, because you just can't have enough arrows. I swear to goodness, it's just something that is indisputable. You can never have enough arrows. It is not a waste of money to pick up all those arrows. So I'm going to maybe purchase some more. I'm going to need more than 40 for the Catacombs, that's for sure. Again, I pick up standard arrows later on to help me with my aiming for when I want to use poison arrows. And poison arrows are also very, very useful in the game. They're a great cheese, and you know, we'll talk more about that when we get to that point. What's up, Shinobi bro? Yeah, you look cool. Alright, I'm just gonna rest there. I'm not gonna go talk to Onion bro. You do not have to talk to Sigmire at the gates of Sen's Fortress in order to start his line. The first time that you actually have to speak to him to continue his line is if you're, you know, in Sen's Fortress already and helping him out from the boulder trap. So, start off by getting these schmucks out of the way. And he didn't do the lunge, but I still managed to get the parry off. You gotta watch for when they're actually beginning to stab. It's kinda hard to get your timing down, but usually when they're just about to bring their stab forward, or swing down at you, that's when the time to parry is. Hollow Soldier Shield is alright if you're playing just... If you start off and you don't have the Master Key, that's a decent enough early shield. But if you're playing one of the other races, or classes rather, I keep saying races, if you're playing one of the other classes that just starts off with a good shield, then use it. The Tower Shield, for instance, I would use that for a good portion of the game. What you got for me? No, not try up. Boulder Shield, awesome! Oh, that's happy making right there. The Boulder Shield needs one more strength to use, but I am not going to be upset about spending that point. This is really working out. This is one part you really should get. Do not forget to get the basement key. It's just really valuable. Because when you go and fight the Tauros demon, and that door right after, which leads you to Solaire, that one right there, and you know, the rushing stabs, just as usual, no enemy is proof against that. But back to what I was saying is that when you are out in the area where you see Solaire, which is right after you beat the Tauros demon, then that's where the door down to the lower Undead Burg is, and you know, it's a great way to have a little bit of extra cover for just saving some time, because you want to also open up the shortcuts. Mobility is the name of the game here. So I didn't get a side sword. It's actually a pretty rare drop, and honestly, getting it now at the beginning of the game would be extraordinarily lucky. And I just don't expect that I'm going to get it. But I do want to get these two chuckleheads out of the way, the Berenica Knight and the Channeler, because they're just going to make my life more interesting, and not in a good way. And plus there's the route down to Firelink Shrine. So I like to tease the Berenica Knight out here. Do not underestimate this guy. He will sometimes throw a double like that and just wreck your day. Bam. Bam. Ow. Yeah, I rolled a little early there, I still made it. It's a little bit more forgiving. And he usually drops a Titanite Shard, which, that's nice. I like a Titanite Shard. Now, I am ready to move on to the Channeler, and again, cheese where possible. This is a real, easy, cheesy way to do it. Just point up, use your D-pad to zoom in. You can hold down the arrow as long as you want, and you just want to headshot the guy repeatedly. Wait till he recovers, headshot. Wait till he recovers, headshot. Wait till he recovers, headshot. And I'll switch to the large arrows, and headshot. See, that's why I get the normal arrows sometimes, is because your aim goes off with the large arrows. Wow, bro, really? There you go. And now he is no longer a problem. It'd be lovely if he could drop the trident. I like watching him slip down and fall to the ground and bounce on his head. That's funny. That bastard deserves it. And here is another Firekeeper soul. Isn't that lovely? We get to use that. So now we can head down. And you know what? I'll go ahead and free Lautrick. I usually free him and then kick him off a cliff because he's a douche. These guys are really dangerous. They will try to parry you. They will get rapid stabs. You do not want to mess with them. Try to take them down if you can, but don't take too many risks. The Rapier Boulder Knights are extremely dangerous. These guys, yeah, this is another one of those don't get cocky sort of things. They're weak, but there's a ton of them, so you can quickly get into a bad situation like what you see here with me. And I can't see very well because, again, my window is smaller than I normally like it. But, you know, good straight attacks with a bit of reach and distance help you out. I'm going to back off and heal up. There's another good twink weapon that you can get if you don't want to, go down into the Valley of Drakes, is that when you are working with the Hellkite Drake, you can get his Dragon Sword, and that's a very useful sword. It's got a great attack for dealing with these guys. But I rarely bother with it. I get the sword because any dragon item, whether it's the Dragon Tooth Club, or if it's the Drake Sword, or even the Dragon King Great Axe, is worth 5,000 souls when you feed it to Frampt. So I usually go for them just for the soul boost. This guy's a douche. But, let's see if I can't catch him. Ooh. Yeah, he is very dangerous. See, I didn't need to take that risk, and I should be dead. Yeah. I hate you. I'm gonna see if I can bait him into drinking. Drinking from the Estus flask. Ah, ball sacks. He got me. Well, that's disappointing. Bleh. Alright, well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Let's go back. I want that humanity and those souls back. I'll be a little put out. I'm more upset about losing a ton of humanity than a ton of souls. The humanity is important to my playstyle because I like to skip unnecessary sections. Once I've gotten the, for instance in Izalith, once I've killed the demon fire sage, and I've gotten the centipede demon down, then I like to skip by and use the Daughters of Chaos shortcut there. And having the humanity helps because you are going to be spending that 30 humanity to get that covenant. Now, I've made the mistake in the past, don't you make the same, of doing it the first time you meet the fair lady. You want to save that humanity and giving it to her until after Anne Orlando, after you've beaten Ornstein and Smo, because you're probably going to need some humanity there. Unless you're super elite, which I am not, then you are going to have a bit of a problem beating Ornstein and Smo, the bro down, with just one person you're going to want to be able to summon. And this is what happens when you try to get fancy, is that, you know, the guy will kill you. He'll damn near kill you. So, like I said, I like to take an opportunity to see if I can get my hands on a Balder side sword. This guy is so dangerous. I hate these guys so much. Let's see if I can kick him a little bit. Nope. Well, that's fine. A couple swipes is just fine by me. These guys are such douches. Don't underestimate anyone. Anyone can and will wreck you up. Nothing drops from him. I'm gonna make another stab at Lautric. I don't have the channeler to worry about anymore. That's just one less thing to bother my day. And this guy... So you disappoint me, bro. There you go. Take a drink, and it will be the end of you. I have to deal with these schmucks again. Tell ya, these hollows, there's no shortage of them. One of the well-used tricks is, you know, drop your shield to let your stamina recover. Stamina is something that you can easily lose track of, and especially against these guys, you do not want to drop your stamina down too far because you're going to need it for the blocking. I got a little bit of humanity from that, which is nice. Humanity tends to trigger actually when you've done X or Y or Z amount of damage, and it's at fixed damage intervals. So that's my understanding of it. You typically get your first humanity from when you're up in the Undead Burg and those hollows are throwing fire bombs at you. Oh good, one-shot kill. And this guy's not going to drop anything useful. Balder gauntlets, I don't wear them ever. Although the Balder leggings are pretty sexy on a female character, but you want to be in human form. And it's like, oh, you misogynist. Well, you know, if I'm going to be playing as a character whose ass I have to watch for a while, it might as well be an attractive female ass. Come up here and talk to Lautric. Say, hey, Lautric, what's up? Yada yada. Not very dialogue heavy here. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay, wonderful. I'm not trying to disrespect them, but everybody's heard this 1,000 times already. And if you haven't, then what are you even watching this video for? You can sit through the dialogue on your own. So I dropped the Balder Knights. You don't want to drop down from there unless you've gotten the Balder Knights there, because they will come after you. Gonna head down into, back down to Firelink Shrine. Be interesting to see how 60 frames per second comes out on the end video there. It'd be nice if it came out good. I doubt I'm even doing 60 frames per second on my screen. So this is a good shortcut that I've just opened up there. It's really very useful for getting back and forth between Andre and the Firelink Shrine. And I got it hella early, you know, I mean, it's not terribly early, but I didn't fight the Tauros demon, and I didn't have to deal with the Hellkite Drake and all that mess to get to the Undead Parish, so it's a good thing. I'm going to raise my strength up, and endurance, same as always, put as much into endurance as I can. And yeah, that's more or less the that's the entirety of where I intended to go with this. Pardon the brief pauses. I'm kind of flicking between my broadcaster window and the game window. So yeah, this is what I intended to do. This was my goal for the episode, and so I think that that's a good place to leave it. So thank you again for tuning in. This has been Solinus Dracone, and this has been Dank Souls. Goodbye.